You and I have both experienced that pain. You strive for your justice, and I strive for mine.
And what's going on, Read My Lips people? We are back. Back like we ain't never left, baby. So, if you haven't seen, as of late, the shenanigans of the Trump family, boy, do I have some stuff for you to see. So, Eric Trump went on Judge Jeanine Pirro's show on Fox News and completely released some verbal diarrhea. That's probably the best way to explain it. I'm going to play the clip for you, and then we're going to come back and talk about it.
And joining me now is the executive vice president of the Trump Organization and the son of the president, Eric Trump. Eric, thanks for being here. You heard my open.
Judge.
Am I wrong?
No, you're 100% right. I mean, I actually think it was a beautiful open. You can go buy a bottle of vodka at a liquor store, but you can't go to church. You can go to Planned Parenthood and get an abortion, but you can't go to the public library to vote. You have these Democrats that come up with these names for these various bills, right? You have the HEROES Act. It sounds beautiful until you start discovering some of the garbage that they put in it, like every state in the country has mail-in voting. And I mean, it's really, really disingenuous. The Democrats are trying to milk this for everything they can, and it's sad. My father, as commander-in-chief, has one of the hardest decisions I think any president in history has had, right? He has to weigh the safety of the public versus, you know, our economy and opening up America. We are the economic powerhouse of the entire world, Jeanine, and, you know, he's got to weigh that. But America does have to get back to work, and Americans want to get back to work. And you can't have every business disappear. And you can't just have, as you said so well in your open, you just can't have the big businesses, the Fortune 500 companies, survive while all the mom and pops go out of business because of the dichotomy of the two. And so it's, no, you absolutely nailed it. It's ridiculous what they're trying to do, and it's going to be stopped.
Well, you know, but what are the consequences? I mean, politically, when you look at your father and you look at the campaign and the election is how many months away, the more the lockdown continues, the more difficult it is. Joe Biden is staying in his basement and, you know, your father is chomping to get out, and they're basically saying nobody can go out in New York City and Los Angeles. How is that going to impact the elections?
Well, listen, the election's 176 days to be exact away. And listen, Biden loves this. Biden can't go out on stage without making some horrible blunder. I mean, even from his basement, he's making awful gaffes every single day. So his campaign's thrilled that he's not going out there. And they think they're taking away Donald Trump's greatest tool, which is being able to go into an arena and fill it with 50,000 people every single time, right? So they will, and you watch, they'll milk it every single day between now and November 3rd. And guess what? After November 3rd, coronavirus will magically all of a sudden go away and disappear, and everybody will be able to reopen. They're trying to deprive him of his greatest asset, which is the fact that the American people love him, the fact that he's relatable, the fact that he can go out there and draw massive crowds. Joe Biden can't get 10 people in a room. My father's getting 50,000 in a room, and they want to do everything they can to stop it. So make no mistake, to a lot of them, Jeanine, to a lot of them, this is a very cognizant strategy that they're trying to employ. It's no different than, again, the nonsense that they're trying to throw in the HOPE Act. It's no different than the mail-in voting that they want to do all these places. It's no different than wanting illegal immigrants to vote in our country. It is a cognizant strategy, and it's sad. And again, it's not going to be allowed to happen. We're going to win in November.
Well, you know, when you say it's a cognizant strategy, I mean, it's clearly, it's no longer, you know, for a while it was about the science and the non-believers and all that, but it's right down the middle in terms of left and right. You know, when you've got ships going back because we don't have enough patients to put in them, but those same cities are closed down. And now, you know, Nancy Pelosi in this $3.3 or whatever trillion stimulus, her latest bill, is for mail-in voting. They don't want people to go to election polling places. And there's a picture that should have been used of people in line at Walmart. We've all been there, Home Depot, you're 6 feet away. You could do the same thing to vote. It's a fear that's being instilled. Are people buying it though?
And by the way, the media is running with it, Judge. I mean, the media is running with you. Look at the White House press conference yesterday. They're all in there. They're criticizing everybody. Why isn't everybody wearing masks? Why isn't everybody wearing masks? All of a sudden, the press conference ends. They continue to roll a clip, and all the reporters are ripping off their masks in the room and going up to each other and speaking. I mean, it's really insane. I mean, they're actually stoking fear in this country. They're doing a massive disservice. They're being totally disingenuous about the whole thing. But they're doing it for one reason. They want to hurt Trump. They tried to do it with the Russia thing. They tried to do it with, the Ukraine scandal. They tried to do it with impeachment. Now they're trying to do it with coronavirus. Yeah. They know they can't beat him. They know that Joe Biden can't beat him. He doesn't stand a chance. So what are they trying? They're trying to do anything that they can to stop him. They'll shut down the economy. They'll stop in-person voting. They'll try and insert things into acts. Again, under the cloak of darkness. That's what these people do. And the media, who is effectively the propaganda arm for the Democrats, they'll continue this narrative. And it's incredible. It's incredible. But you know what, Janine, the great thing about it is Americans see through it, and they're not going to let it happen.
Mm-hmm. All right, Eric Trump, thanks so much for being with us.
All right, so let's get into some of the things that he said in this clip. Let's see if we can dissect it. So the first thing he says is you can go buy liquor from a liquor store, but you can't go to church. Well, you can't have a whole bunch of people huddled up in a church because that's simply not safe. You can open a liquor store and have social distancing rules. Obviously, limit the amount of people that can go into the liquor store. Like Kansas City has the 10-10-10 rule and stuff like that. So, yes, a liquor store will be open, minimal amount of people. I guess you could do the same thing with the church, open the church, but then you'd be restricting the amount of people that can come in, and I'm sure they'd have a problem with that as well. And then he goes, you can go to the doctor and get an abortion. Why would you even say that? Where did that come from? You can go to the hospital and get anything done. You can go to the hospital and do it. Yes, if you can go to the hospital to do medical procedures. You're absolutely right. What a weird statement. And he said that statement in particular to try to make you have a visceral reaction to it. But doesn't work. So his problem with the Dems calling what they just came up with the HERO Act wasn't that they didn't ask for a UBI or they didn't try to get $2,000 a month for Americans. His problem is that they asked for mail-in voting. That's your problem. That's the garbage in what they just asked for in the bill that they're trying to pass is the mail-in voting. Probably the most non-issue you could find in that bill. That's the biggest issue that you have. That just shows where their hearts and minds lie. He then accuses the Democrats of trying to milk this scenario for everything it's worth. So the Dems are barely fighting for you as it is. Let's just be honest. And the little bit of fighting they do, the itty-bitty little bit of fighting they're doing is called milking it. So when they stand up for you and they try to do something for the people, it's milking it. Just like Stuart Varney was saying, they're scheming. They're scheming to get UBI in. What a scheme, trying to help people out. Such schemers. Trump has one of the hardest decisions that any president has had to face in a long time. The safety of the public, people's lives, or the economy. People's lives, sir. And I've been seeing this a little bit with the Dems, mostly with the Republicans, is this sacrifice talk. They keep talking about sacrifice. People will need to be sacrificed in order to save our economy. So they're volunteering other people to die for their economy. Not them. No, not them. No, not Eric. Eric doesn't know. Eric's fine. He's not sacrificing himself. Trump's fine. He's not sacrificing himself. You have to sacrifice yourselves for the economy. They are determined to open up no matter what. Regardless of what the CDC says, regardless of what the World Health Organization says, even though the numbers continue to rise, the curve isn't flattened, it's continuing to spike, they don't care. You will be a sacrifice. They will open up every freaking state and allow you to get sick and then pretend they don't see about it for the sake of the economy. Now, if they were volunteering themselves as well, maybe I might see it a little bit different. But no, all these people in these media organizations, these people that sit on their thrones in these high places, they're not sacrificing themselves. They want to sacrifice you. You have to do it. For them being lax. Yes, China screwed up and they kept it from us. And they screwed up on their end. But guess what? We screwed up on our end. Now, since Trump and his establishment screwed up on their end, since they didn't nip this in the bud from the beginning, since they sat on their asses from the beginning and let this propel to what it is, you have to sacrifice yourselves. And once again, the American people find themselves having to cover somebody else's ass. Whether it be Wall Street, the big banks, you name it. We always end up having to cover someone's ass. Now, Trump and the establishment, they were lax. They dropped the ball. And so now they want us to come to the forefront and sacrifice ourselves, our children, our elderly, the minorities. Sacrifice ourselves for the economy. I've said this before in a couple of videos, and I'll say it again. They do not care about us. He then goes on to say, and his Fox News has peddled this before, but if you watch, it was either the last video or the one before, where they kept saying Americans want to get back to work now. Americans want to go to work right now. And then the poll came out and 68% said, no, we don't. We know it's not safe. We want to wait. And they were shocked. So Eric clearly must have missed that poll because 68% of Americans disagree with you. They are not ready to go back to work yet because they know it is not safe. Now you care about the mom and pop stores. Now you care about the small businesses. Now you care. When Walmart was eating up mom and pop stores, you were shh, hush. You could hear a pin drop. When Amazon's not paying taxes and crushing everybody else, shh, hush. You can hear a pin drop. But now suddenly Eric cares. He cares about the mom and pop stores. He cares, Eric. Eric cares. Eric, you don't give a fuck about the mom and pop stores. You want people to go back to work so the economy can keep thriving under your father. Because the more that it suffers, the worse he looks when it comes for election time. I will admit that. But it's clear and evident what you want, what your desires are. And quite frankly, you don't care for the people in the least. Yes, Joe Biden has been in his basement. But that was before even COVID. When he was in the primaries, his campaign had a keep Biden hidden away as much as possible rhetoric. That's all they did. That's all they wanted to do because they knew he's incompetent. So, he's not just staying in his basement to avoid Trump or because of COVID-19. This is what they've been doing against anybody, any of his opponents. Any of his opponents, no matter who it is, whether it be Bernie, Warren, Yang, is keep him hidden away as long as possible. This is true. But it's not because of COVID-19, let me tell you. It's because this was their strategy. And yes, Biden has a ton of gaffes. He's in cognitive decline. It's apparent. I've called on that many, many times. Biden was probably the weakest candidate that was running in the primary, if you really think about it. But let's play devil's advocate here. Yes, Biden has tons of gaffes and he can barely put two sentences together. But Trump, you're kind of in the same boat. You're kind of a man-child. Every time you go, besides your rallies aside, every time you go out and speak to the public, every time you go out and speak to reporters, you're always screwing up as well. Literally every other day, there's something that they can hammer you on because you do stupid stuff all the time. So in Biden's case, it's because he's deteriorating. In your case, it's because you're an idiot. So, tomato, tomato?
You like potato, and I like potato. You like tomato, and I like tomato. Potato, potato, tomato, tomato. Oh, let's call the whole thing off.
Then he goes on to say they're trying to deprive him of the fact that the American people love him. What box are you living in? The American people love Trump. Trump has a strong base of supporters. That is undeniable. Undeniable. But the American people unequivocally do not love Donald Trump. The only person he really has a higher approval rating than is Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton has like a 30% approval rating. The only person people hate more than Donald Trump is probably Hillary Clinton. But nowhere is it stated that that the American people love him. He has his base of support, but they don't love him. Eric, I don't even know if you love him, and that's your father. And clearly drawing massive crowds means absolutely nothing. Bernie Sanders during this primary drew massive crowds. He shit on everybody crowd-wise. You look at a Bernie Sanders rally, a Bernie Sanders when you go out and speak, and the crowd size, and he was shooting on everybody. Nobody can compete. And then you look at Biden, and like he said, he can barely get people in a room. And Biden still won. So clearly the people that show up to these rallies versus the people that are going to come out to vote, it's going to be different. It's going to be vastly different. You're very much doubting the anti-Trump sentiment, the anti-Trump crowd that will come out. Now, Biden's issue is, is he going to get enough Yang supporters, and is he going to get enough Sanders supporters to come out for him? That therein lies the question. That therein lies the question. And then the Tara Reade allegations. It's really a toss-up. It's really a toss-up. Then he makes up that we want illegal immigrants to vote in the country. Not true. That's not true. You just made that up. This is, but don't get me wrong. The people that watch Fox News, they love this. They ooze this. They gold dust this. They gold dust this stuff.
It can be described in a lot of ways, but
they love this. They love this. And then they get around with their friends who watch the same thing and they just talk about it and spit this rhetoric in a circle. Oh, they love this shit. This is like prime time. Oh, they love this. The people that watch Fox News, this is the kind of shit they love. And then like an insane person like Jeanine Pirro, oh, they love Jeanine Pirro. They love Jeanine Pirro. They love her. They love her. Oh, they probably think she should be president. Jeanine Pirro. So, understand, he's giving red meat to the base. So then they say, oh, look at Walmart. They have lines at Walmart, and you could do that with the voting. First of all, the voting places are going to be a lot more cramped than a Walmart. First of all, Walmarts are usually fairly huge. And then second of all, voter turnout is going to be incredibly low if it's like that. Voter turnout is already low as it is. It's going to be incredibly low. How about we just do mail-in voting? They don't want that. They keep saying, oh, the Dems are going to cheat. They're going to cheat. Donald Trump is incredibly afraid that the Dems are going to do some sort of finagling and screw him out of the presidency. This is what he fears. This is what keeps him up at night. That the Dems are going to do mail voter fraud. Even though voting fraud exists as it is already. It does exist. Don't get it twisted. Voter fraud does exist. But he's deathly afraid that they're going to try to do something crazy, like try to screw him out, because he knows they dislike him that much. So this is what keeps him up at night. And then he tells the lie that all the reporters all took out their masks and then went up to each other and were congregating and talking as if this whole COVID-19 thing is a hoax, and et cetera, et cetera. I think one person pulled down her mask for like 6 seconds and then put it back up. That's what happened. She actually tweeted that out. She took down her mask for 6 seconds and pulled it back up. But it's just more propaganda. So I thought this was fascinating. So Eric believes that the Dems will let 100,000 plus people die just so the reality TV president can't go to his crowds and rallies. I mean, I usually say don't put anything past anybody, but I just don't think that's the case. This is real, seeing as I know people have died from it. This is a real thing. This is a real thing, and it needs to be addressed. I'm not trying to play red versus blue with you guys. Clearly, they're still playing red versus blue no matter what. And the chances of that extra $1,200 that everybody on Facebook was talking about yesterday, it's diminishing. Slim to no chance.
And it's gone.
Because they can't stop this bullshit. They can't stop it. So I just found this as an interesting clip. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section about that same clip. Put it all out on the line. I want to hear what you got to say about what Eric was saying. He looks like such a prick. He looks like such a prick. I don't know. Some people might think I look like a prick. I don't know. I could look prickly. Oh, man. But pay attention to the words he used. The Dems are milking. They're depriving. He also says after November 3rd, coronavirus will magically all of a sudden go away and disappear. And he's ignoring the fact that 88,000 people have died in the U.S. from it. So, yeah, ugly stuff. But let's go to some good news. We need some good news. So, a Bronx resident received $1,000 from Andrew Yang's nonprofit organization. So in March, Andrew Yang's nonprofit Humanity Forward announced it was distributing $1 million in $1,000 cash payments to 1,000 working households in the Bronx. And among one of those recipients was Ramona Ferreira. If I'm saying her name wrong, I apologize. She lives in South Bronx. She's 39. She's a community activist and a small business owner. So she would help make masks for essential workers, and she would bring medicine to her sick neighbors. She also used her skills as a community organizer to help everyone around her pretty much ride out the COVID-19 crisis. She had donated $15 to Yang and knew of his plan to help people, but then suddenly she received news that she was selected, and she couldn't believe it. She said, the day I got the text from Neighborhood Trust, I was like, what is this? And she sat there and she cried. And she used to work at this. Now, this is what threw me for a loop. She used to work for the FBI in the Department of Defense. Yeah, that caught me off guard. But then she relocated to the Bronx to take care of her grandmother, who's 89 years old, and they lived together in a one-bedroom apartment. And her grandmother's health issues has made it difficult to work in most traditional jobs. So most of their income comes from sales from her clothing business. And she sells baby clothes, propped up by Hispanic heritage. And so with the COVID-19 crisis, her sales had dropped dramatically, and she had to cancel all of her pop-up events. The food stamps ran out, and she was in a dire situation. But then with the direct support of Humanity Forward, through a partnership between Neighborhood Trust and Lifesaver, she received $1,000 payment to help her feel more secure. And she said this payment was life-changing. And she used the funds to make 2 credit card payments. She bought $100 in stocks, a new can opener, a mop for her grandma, supplies for her dog, and she invested back in her business. And this one payment made such a huge difference. And I want to see more of this. Since receiving the financial assistance, her company has drastically improved. Normally, she does the majority of her business through pop-ups, but recently it is 100% online. Recently, she purchased Google Ads, and her traffic increased from 5 to 10 views a day on her page to now 25 to 50. And she's confident the money will make a difference it basically gave her the freedom to choose where I was going to put my energy, and that choice was priceless. This is what Yang does. Man, I come out here and I stress all the time of how Yang, even after his campaign was suspended, still puts his best foot forward and tries to help people, and he's never been stagnant. And this just shows it. And we get to hear from someone that this has helped him in such a dramatic way. And I want there to be so many more stories like this. Like, when you're down and out, you don't think, oh, what, the next meal, what am I going to do next? How am I going to do this? What am I going to do? I'm between a rock and a hard place. I'm backed in a corner. Cha-ching! $1,000. What? Man, that's what she cried. What an amazing feeling. It couldn't have came at a better time. So I just wanted to leave this video off with something positive. Humanity forward. Thank you. So as of right now, it is the 17th. This video will probably be up on the 18th. So I just want to say before I close out, make sure you check me out. I'm doing a live stream with Paget tomorrow, Monday, at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. And it should be a lot of fun. So definitely check that out. And yeah, appreciate you guys for listening. If you like what you see, if you like what you hear, please like, comment, subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it. If you don't, let me know in the comment section why. I'm always down to talk about it. I have a Cash App, a PayPal, and a Venmo link in the description below. Please feel free to donate to the channel. Every little bit helps. Hopefully, I'll be talking to you guys soon. Have a good one. Peace.
Fucked and drank all night, acted all alright, had no need